Hi everyone, as promised, we are going to do a reading on Trump. So I asked for your questions, and if you have even more questions after this reading, feel free to put them in the comments. For now, I'm going to read on the questions that I have already gotten. I've had quite a few thoughts on my own on what questions I want to ask too, but I put it out there to all of you. And this is where we're going to go ahead and start with your questions, and we'll take it from there and see what we get. A lot of people have questions on, what's Elon doing in there? And what is Trump's main intentions? Is he here to heal the country? Is it going to cause more harm than good? All of your questions that I will just go ahead and read on. Going to try to stay as neutral as I can, which is not always easy for any of us, really, when you feel one way or the other. But let's see how good I do. All right, so let me just concentrate on all of you and your questions for a few moments here. And the truth, and I always, when I'm doing this, ask that I can be a vessel of discernment and just a channel for the truth, that the thoughts that come are not from me, but from the higher above and the knowledge of the universe. So let me go ahead and focus, and we will start reading. All right, so your first question was, what were Trump's intentions? Why did he want to be president? So let's go ahead and ask that one and see what were his intentions? What is fueling him to want to be president? And we'll go from there. We have lots and lots more questions on that. All right, so the moon is a card of anxiety, worry, upset, not really liking some things the way they are. The moon is a card of the way things look is not always what they appear to be. So I will say, when Trump looked at the government, he looked at it and felt like there's a lot of anxiety with what's going on, a lot of uncertainty. Sometimes people are not always approaching the government in the most, I feel, logical manner, is coming to me, that they're feeling. There's a lot of feeling and a lot of people acting on feelings instead of logic. That's really coming through strong to me, that he felt we need to get in there and take a logical approach to solve some of the issues in the country. And it can't be, I almost hear him in my head saying these like some people are too soft-hearted and feeling, and they want to give everything away and they want to help everybody, but at the end of the day you really have to look at what is happening in our country and what logically can we do about that, and take it as the approach of what's smart for the country. And in his mind, what's smart for the country is for it to be financially secure and to have a good military. There's something about being ready for war at all times that's coming through to me as well. So his main goals, what I feel, is financial, get the country financially more sound, and also to build a strong military. He didn't feel that people were approaching things correctly in the past. There's too many kind of bleeding hearts. All right, Elon's intentions. So let's see what Elon's intentions are here. Why he has gotten into government all of a sudden, instead of building spaceships, or as he builds spaceships. What is Elon's intentions? Because I personally did not hear Elon say a lot about politics before. Now maybe I just was not paying attention, but it'll be good to pick this card and see what it says. All right, so that's the King of Pentacles. Elon, this is the guy who's got money, and this is the guy who's in charge, and he's financially secure, and he reigns the kingdom. So for Elon, it is a lot about financial gain here, and the power. The power and the finances are big, what draws him to that position. The power. There's a lot of power in that position. And so he is someone with a strong focus on money, as we all know, and he is very wanting to use kind of his knowledge, but it's also very much a, I don't know how to say it quite right. I don't want to say pride, but there is a wanting to be at the top. There's definitely a wanting to be at the top financially and with power. And that is what I think is motivating Elon here. Because that's the King of Pentacles card. And he is our guy at the top. He's powerful and he's got his finances in order too. All right, so one of you asked, are they going to heal the country? That would be beautiful, and I think that's what everybody would hope for, that our country would move forward in a sense of healing and eventually not be so divided, right? So let's ask about their motive for healing this country. Will the country be healed within the next 4 years? Well, I hate to say it, but this is not a great card for healing. This is actually a card that harms. And so this is the Five of Swords. What we've got here is somebody, you see this man's wearing red and he's powerful and he's got 3 swords. And we've got these 2 which have actually dropped their swords and walked away. So there's a very strong sense of power, taking power, maintaining power, getting power, sometimes at the expense of others. This is what we've got here. It is at these people's expense, and these people have given up, and he's taken from them. So, I, with a card like this, I would love to say yes, healing is what's going to happen, but I don't see that happening. I see more of a power grab and other people not even fighting anymore. They're just handing it over and giving up. That's what I see. All right. This guy, you know what's coming to me, and don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading the card. But what came to me in my head, I heard, this man's very selfish. He wants what he wants, and he's going to get it regardless of the effect it has on other people. So that is kind of the, I hate to say it, but what I'm seeing in those 4 years. It's going to be a, this is what I want, I'm taking it. Those people are hurt by it, yes. I mean, this guy's back here crying. You can see him leaning over crying, but I'm taking it anyway. That's not going to stop this person from doing what they want to do. All right, so now the next card is, will they harm the country? Unfortunately, our heal card did point to it's going to harm some people. I guess we've already seen that, you know, that people have lost their jobs and what have you, but in the long term, there, you would hope that that would be with a thought of healing eventually, but unfortunately that wasn't what I saw in the cards. So how about harming? Let's see what we've got here with harming the country overall. And I'm just asking an overall because there'll always be people that agree and always be people that disagree, but overall harming, the harm this will cause. Well, honestly, if I was going to ask for a card that showed the harm, this would be it. It's the Tower card. It's a card of calamity. It's a card of destruction. It's a card of falling. It's a card of unexpected things happening. It's a card of your everything kind of going in the wrong direction and it happening very quickly. This card can stand for war. I was going to ask about war because that is one of the questions I have. I hate to say it, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. The Tower is not a good card. It's just not a good card. And then when I've got these 2 together, you know, harming other people and watching them fall. Don't shoot the messenger if you're a Trump supporter. These are the cards I'm drawing. You saw me shuffle. All right. Someone else asked about Elon's son's purpose in life, and he seemed like an old soul. So let's ask about him and that little guy. What is his purpose in life? Adorable kid. Adorable, by the way. What is Elon Musk's little boy that he's got on his shoulders all the time? I don't know his name, sorry, or I'd say it. But what is his purpose in life? Well, this is somebody that has a couple different things they can do. Since the Pentacle, I do see a financial card here, and I do feel like he's juggling different um, finances. So I think he's going to be somebody who brings balance financially to things, like somebody who goes in a company and looks at it and straightens it out to make it more financially sound and um, make better financial decisions, kind of like a consultant or something, but way at the top. Way at the top is what I see. He may take broken companies that are falling apart and find out how to help them make money and fix them. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to be very financially savvy. I guess that makes sense with the world he's growing up in, that he would be able to do that. All right. If Trump is trustworthy, somebody asked, is Trump trustworthy? The cards we got, maybe they didn't point in that direction, but let's see the actual. We're just going to ask, is he trustworthy? And pull a card. I guess that means to who? And I'll just say to the American public. Is he trustworthy? To the American public. This is the Page of Pentacles. So his eye is on the money, and the Page of Pentacles' eye is on the money. He's fixated on that coin, and I think Trump is fixated on money, and that's what is coming through. That is what he's really focusing on. I think we all would agree that he's really focusing on money right now. I don't think anybody would disagree with this card. But that is going to continue to be his focus, is the finances. So if you voted for him and you wanted somebody who just got in there and wanted to focus purely on finances, you've got your person, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to focus on finances at whatever cost. And so if you're okay with that, then you've got the right guy in office. If you feel like that would make somebody not trustworthy because they're going to make decisions based on what's going to bring money in, regardless of the cost, to other things. Not when I say cost, I don't mean the cost financially. I mean the cost to mental health, to some people losing services that they were relying on. So it matters on the way you look at it, right? It just matters on the way you're looking at it and what you want Trump to go in there and do. You might trust him with the money because he wants to build it. He does. He wants to build the money, and he wants the country to have more and more money. That is what I see. Um, and he's very, very money focused. So how do you interpret that? Does that make him trustworthy? Let's ask for why is he trustworthy? If you're a person that wanted that, you're going to get it. So we're going to ask, why is he trustworthy? And this card is a Six of Swords, and this is a card of moving forward, taking your thoughts with you, moving from kind of rougher waters to smoother waters. So in that sense, he does have his eye on where he wants to go. He wants to make things run smoother. In his mind, that is what he's doing. And he wants to get away from the old way of doing things into a new way of doing things. And he's moving towards that. He thinks he's going from the, as you can see here, the kind of rough waters into smoother waters. That's his feeling, that he's taking the country there. And so if you wanted that, then you're going to get that, because that's his thoughts are just on that, financially moving forward and taking that rough financial where we were struggling and moving it forward more smoothly. So if that makes him trustworthy to you, then you're going to get that. Now, other people may see that as, well, who's paying the cost? And what are we losing in that? To just have a focus on money, that strong of a focus on money, and not some of these other services and things that the country was doing before. So for those people, this would be more of their why not card, which I think that some people can say, yes, he is trustworthy because that he's giving them what they voted for. So why not, though? For the people who feel like he's not. Well, this is a good card to depict that, I do feel. This is the Five of Pentacles. And what are these people doing? They're suffering. There's all that money in the window. It's a beautiful stained glass window, but it's on the other side, and they're not inside where it's nice and warm and that money is. They're outside in the cold and they're suffering. So the reality is to go in Trump's direction, in the direction Trump wants to go, some people are going to suffer. And if you're one of those people, then you're going to say he's not trustworthy. If you're one of those people who is going to financially benefit eventually from all that, you may say he's trustworthy. It really is perspective. Which one of these are you? Which one of these are you? Are you reliant on some of the services from the government? Are you reliant on Medicaid? Or I think I read 42% of the babies born in the United States are born using Medicaid. So that's a huge amount. It matters where you are with your own pocketbook, I think is what it comes down to. Okay. One of you asked about Trump and Obama at the funeral home and what they were talking about. So let's just pull a card for that. Trump and Obama at the funeral home, and what were they talking about? Trump and Obama at the funeral home. Well, this is I really don't want what you have to give. So Trump may have made Obama an offer and Obama was not interested in it. That's what it looks like to me. An offer was made and the other person was not interested. I think Obama doesn't want to get involved in any of the Trump politics. I think that's pretty clear to all of us, and that's what I'm seeing there. I think Trump, it would look great for Trump to get Obama in his corner, right? If he could. And that's what I feel there was some sort of offer to bring Obama in on something, and Obama was not interested in that. All right. Somebody else asked, will the government cuts help the public? That's already kind of been shown in some of my other cards. I'll pull a card for it though, and we'll go from there. It matters who you are in the public. That's what it comes down to. Will Trump cuts help the public? So again, we've gotten some pretty harsh, hard cards when I ask how the Trump cuts are going to affect the public. The public overall is not going to benefit from this. No, they're not, because this is the death card. This is something harming you, just like the Tower that we got in the Five of Swords. These are in the Five of Pentacles. These are cards of people suffering, people paying a price. So ultimately, people are going to pay a price for the country to be more financially stable. And it really, like I said, are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to have your services cut? Are you willing to pay, you be the one that pays for your child if you're one of those 42% of mothers who gave birth to a child and used Medicaid? Are you, so ultimately you got to look at that and say, well, yeah, the country's getting much more stable, but at the cost of, let's face it, some people going into debt. And unfortunately, those people are not in a position where they really have money to go into debt, right? They're relying on these services because they don't have money. So it's where you are in your views. Are you hey, my heart goes out to these people and I want to make sure those children have Head Start and Medicaid when they're born, and that their mom can go to the hospital and birth them there at a safer place? Or do I really want to think about this country needs to get financially more stable at all costs, and regardless of the people who, end up like this? There's going to be a lot of people who don't come out ahead. The majority of people are not going to come out ahead from this. That's the reality. And what cost are you willing to pay? Are you like, the country needs to get financially stable at all costs? I don't care who it harms. Then if that's you, then this is for you, because you will like this. And maybe you'll say, but eventually we'll have more and maybe the government will give it back. Maybe. It's going to take a lot from a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to pay a price. I will just say that is what I see in the cards. All right. Why does Trump trust Elon? Why does Trump trust Elon? That is an interesting question, isn't it? I didn't think they were friends before this, but what do I know? Why does Trump trust Elon? Okay, he sees him as a really hard worker. And he is. I mean, let's face it. He's done a huge amount. He dreams big. He pushes through. This guy's pushing through all that stuff. He's carrying a heavy, heavy load, and he is getting it done. Like he's not going to stop. He's carrying all that heavy load. So he sees Elon as somebody who can handle it. He gets things done. The wands are active. You know, this is a 10 of wands. The wands are your activity. You push through. You're strong. You're not going to quit. That's what he sees with him. That's what he needs to fulfill his plan. He needs people who are strong, who are focused, who are going to do what he wants them to do, and Elon will. He will. He's got the track record that Trump is looking for. All right. Someone else asked, why did Trump switch from a Democrat to a Republican? So let's find that out. That is a big switch, isn't it? Why did Trump switch from Democrat to Republican? Well, making a new start, wanting to go in a new direction. Um, Also, maybe feeling Democrats were being sort of foolish. I get all of that. He started feeling the Democrats were being foolish financially. Again, we go back to that bleeding heart. I can hear him. I literally hear it in his voice, bleeding heart in my head. So he thinks the Democrats are a little bit too much of bleeding hearts. And he felt it is time to make a change for this country. And he did feel he was making the country great again. And to do that, he really felt he had to align with the Republican Party, who, in his thoughts, are more financially secure and more financially devoted to being financially stable. These are the way he thinks. He wants to be conservative with finances, and Republicans, he feels, are more conservative, and he was aligning more with that. All right, so with that said, okay, one of you asked, Trump and Biden met to have a discussion before Biden left. So one of you asked about that. Let's see what that discussion was about. You said in your message, Biden had quite the grin on his face. So let's see what that was about. Trump and Biden, their message, their meeting. Okay, so this is the Queen of Wands. I think in that message or in that meeting, Trump was giving a message of power over. He was demoting Biden to the Queen, and Trump was giving the king. You know, he was showing him that he is. Some of that meeting had to do with Trump showing him that he's more powerful. That's what I'm getting, and treating Biden as less. There's something in there about treating Biden as less, kind of putting Biden more in his place. There was some smugness at that meeting. Biden felt it was smug. That's where the grin came in. There were comments that were smug at that meeting that made Biden feel like he had operated as a queen and not a. That's what it felt like. Yeah, it's very interesting, the dynamics. Okay, so moving on. Will the U.S. be in war under Trump? So let's go ahead and ask about that. Will the U.S. be in war under Trump? Will the U.S. be in war under Trump? Well, this is a card of Pentacles. It's a card of finance and greed. It's a card of keeping everything to yourself and not helping your neighbor. It's a card of what we've been talking about, really. Keeping your money close to home and building your country behind you and building your wealth and not giving to other people. So while I'm not necessarily seeing a war here, I'm seeing a non-supportive person at the helm. And when I say non-supportive, I mean not supporting programs outside of the U.S., not even supporting many of the programs that were supported before inside of the US, and kind of, if you will, hoarding the money to balance the budget and just keeping the money very close to home. Yeah, that's what I see. So I don't necessarily see war, but I see non-support. Non-support. Friends will become enemies, is what I'm hearing in my head. Friends will become enemies. Um, okay, so the economy over the next 4 years. I think that's something a lot of people are questioning. What will the American economy be like over the next 4 years overall? Okay, so this is a card of the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is somebody like, here's a lot of good stuff here, and things are working pretty good here. And this guy could stay and drink from these cups and feel fulfilled, but he's going in the other direction and he's going into the dark. So for the economy, I don't love to see, hey, going into the dark, the unknown. Um, the moon always makes me a little iffy when we see the moon in cards, just because that's a little bit of the, what you're seeing isn't what you're going to get a lot of the time. So I don't have a great feeling about it. I think in the future, the economy isn't going to be great. It might be better now than it will be in the future, or it might have been better in the past than it is now. It just feels like we're going into the dark unknown at this point, and things aren't always as they seem. I mean, that's a big message from the moon. What you're seeing may or may not be a reflection of what is really happening. So it's just a card of kind of like, what's going to happen out there when he starts walking into those dark mountains. It might not be great. I'm not seeing the economy being great. I'm not seeing like a success card. Like, I would have loved to seen the victory card, the chariot or something of that nature. I didn't. I saw kind of going off, like leaving what was good behind you and going off into the dark. Okay, Americans' overall feelings about Trump when he leaves office. So I know he's got a lot of supporters now, but let's ask 4 years from now how people are feeling about him. The majority of people is what we're going to ask. The majority of people, how are they going to feel about him? All right, so this is the Empress, and the Empress is not a bad card. The Empress is a card of feeling comfortable. So I think the majority of people might feel okay about when he leaves, or they're going to feel more comfortable because he's leaving. So you can take that both ways. It could be they're feeling comfortable or they feel more comfortable that he's leaving. So let me ask that. Are they feeling comfortable because of the changes he's made? Let's ask that. And this is the majority, over 50% of the people. Are they feeling more comfortable because of the changes he's made? We'll keep that card there. Or are they feeling more comfortable because he's leaving and maybe now there will be some changes that they will like a little better? Okay, so we'll keep that card. So, more comfortable because of the changes he's made? Yeah, I think some people will feel more comfortable in the financial aspect. And we've said that all along. If you're one of those people who feels like the finances of this country are what is most important, then you're going to support this and you're going to feel good about it. And I did ask the majority, and the majority feel like the economy might be better, even though we saw that Eight of Cups where it looked a little like going off into the unknown, things might not always be as they seem. So there may be reports that it's doing great and people support that, but it might not be always what it seems. But overall, it looks like people are feeling pretty good about it. Now, when I asked, was it that feeling good while he's still in office or feeling good because he's leaving office? I also have people that feel good that he's leaving office. Weirdly, I also feel the majority of people will be happy that he's leaving office. And why? Because it feels like people are very Well, he's ruling them in a, I hate to say it, but it's almost ruling people in a dictatorship style. This guy is in full control of those people. He's got them chained in his presence, and they are completely reliant on him. And so there is going to be this feeling of, kind of the all powerful and these small people down here, and they have to do what he asks. And as I say that, as those words come out of my mouth, there's going to be a lot of people in government that feel that way. I can feel that. Boom, it came in. And they're going to be very relieved when they don't feel like they have to stand there and do whatever he asks all the time. So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And we've seen that throughout the reading. But I think ultimately people are going to feel financially we're in a better place and that he did good with that. But they're not going to feel he did good with the politics and the democracy, is what I'm hearing. So the politics and the democracy are suffering, but the finances are doing better in the eyes of the American people. Whether that is 100% true because we got that Eight of Cups, it might not be 100% true, but it is the perception. All right, Trump's health next 4 years. Let's ask that. Trump's health in the next 4 years. Yeah, his health looks pretty good. That is the Six of Wands. Somebody being successful. Looks like he'll be okay. There is this guy, he always jumps out at me, this guy who like really wants to get that person. He's a little envious back there. I don't know if you could see him. That look on his face, he's a little envious. And he's looking at that guy a little envious. So there may be some more, didn't somebody like try to shoot him, things like that. We may have a few more of those. But overall, I think his health is going to be okay. All right, so last few questions. What should I have asked that I did not? What topic should we have touched on that I did not touch on? I always think that's a good one to ask, and it's this one right here. All right, this is the making decisions really, really fast, and this is a Knight of Swords, so that guy comes in very threatening. I think there's going to be a lot more of this threatening behavior, even to our allies. I hear that in my head. There's going to be a do it my way or you will pay. I've got my sword drawn and I'm ready to use it. I think that will be his whole approach here. And that will affect people. That will affect people. Definitely will affect people. I feel like it's not just the people in government, not just other countries. It's going to affect the American people too overall. All right, so what do we need to know? What do we need to know before we go? What do we need to know before we go about Trump and this presidency? All right, so this is the Six of Pentacles. This is somebody being powerful and people kind of having to beg and get what they want. Somebody who is all powerful and holds pretty much all the cards, and other people really having to look up to that person and beg to get what they want. The person does have the judicial justice balanced in his hand, so he is trying to balance things financially, and we've seen that throughout this whole reading. People may not get things as easily as they did before. They may have to basically kind of figuratively get on their knees and beg for help. So it's going to be harder for people to get help in this country, is what I see. It's not going to be as easy. There is going to be some sort of handout and justice. I feel that will be there, but it will not be as easy. I think people cannot stay on social services for nearly as long as they were before. I think there's going to be a lot of change in that, because ultimately these people that are on their knees begging, what I hear in my head is get up and do it yourself. We're not going to do it for you. Get up and do it yourself. Again, where are you in that? how you feel about that. Um, you know, it's just really how you feel about it. And if that's where you're at and you feel like that is what we need to do, it's going to be an overall sweeping approach to everybody and not as individualistic cases. And that whole like, okay, well, this person had this situation in their life that happened to them, and maybe we should give them a little more time than this person over here. It's going to be like a sweeping, this is what you get, that's it, you're done, stand up, do it yourself, there you go. So just a little, some people may say harsher approach to handouts. I don't think all the handouts are going to be gone, but there's going to definitely be a, you got to figure this out to people. You got to figure it out. You just can't sit here and expect other people to take care of you. And let's hope that somehow we will also develop resources to those people that are expecting people to, or the government or resources to help them. There will be somehow that they can help themselves. You know, I think about Meals on Wheels and those elderly people. Well, I don't know that they can get up and go help themselves at this point in their lives. They, many of them are reliant on handouts from the government. This may affect Social Security. There may be things like that that people are relying on, like Meals on Wheels, to to survive, to survive and get by. So there is definitely a look of overall boom, this is how we handle all of it, and not individualistic. You had this situation, I get it. We're going to let you stay on this for a little longer, but you got to still be working towards a plan. I'm not seeing as much of that. So, with that said, that is my reading on Trump. If you have more questions, go ahead and put them in the comments here, and I can do another reading. I'll wait to get a few good questions, and then we'll start there. Interesting reading, interesting reading. Hopefully it makes people think, you know? If nothing else, it just makes people think about where they stand and what they believe in, and what they think is right and what they support, and who they want to be in the future and what they'll feel good about being that, and what they support, and what they will say at the end of the day, I supported this and I feel I did right, or at the end of the day, this wasn't supported and I feel wrong. So just to help people kind of get their minds in a good mindset of what they believe in and what they really support and who they support and where they want the country to go, as well as where they want the public to go, and what they expect from the government for the public too, and what they expect from the government financially too. So weigh those options, weigh what came out here, and see where you fall. You can put it in the comments. All right, thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.